I saw a post on social media wherein a lady said that the best way to tie a man down is to get pregnant, that he will definitely marry you. I don't know whether she was joking or she's serious, and I also want to commend her for being honest. At least she is honest enough to say it, because there are people who really do believe that's like your best bet for the guy to marry you, especially with most of us coming from families who don't support being pregnant if you're not yet married. So I can understand where she's coming from, because it's quite common that the moment she gets pregnant, the family is going to tell her to bring the guy has to make sure it gets ready for the dowry payment and all of that, and then boom, they get married, not even thinking about the fact that it might not really be in love with you, it might not want to get married at the time, and it might end up despising you even, because it's thinking you've now pushed him into a marriage wherein it wasn't ready, or wasn't even considering marrying you. I know people will be like, they did not tie a rope on his throat to marry this lady if she gets pregnant. But then we know that most of the time there's always that chance that he's going to marry her. And because she knows that this has been such a common practice, it's now so believable, and it's so easy to just, he doesn't seem to want to get married to me, let me just get pregnant and he's going to marry me. And that's an unhealthy reason to get married. Super unhealthy. Another reason that is quite unhealthy is you being tired of staying in your parents' house. Yes, I understand most of the time African parents can be, a little maybe overprotective. They have strict instructions that, okay, I don't care whether you're a 24-year, 25-year-old woman, you're going to get to my house at 11 sharp. You cannot stay outside above 11 p.m. And you are so tired of that. And of course, our parents are always going to see us as their kids. We're still babies to them. They might obviously respect your age, respect that you're an adult, but then it's their house and they have the right to make their rules. So it's easy for you to feel like, oh, I'm so unhappy here, it's best I get married. That's not a good reason for getting married. Another reason is you being afraid of being left out. You're worried that, oh, my friends are getting married, I'm getting old, I need to get married. And you don't even think about anything else. You're just like, anyone that shows up, I'm gonna marry you. I'm not gonna start thinking or choosing or waiting for anything else. Another unhealthy reason to get married is the fear of being independent. What I mean is, most of us have grown up with our parents or guardians for the past 21 years or more, and then you're now at a point that you're supposed to stand up on your own, get a job, start working and doing all those stuff, and you're like, okay, I'm not sure I can handle this, I might as well get married. That's quite a selfish reason, and it's not a good reason for getting married. Another reason too, this one is quite interesting for me, because it's something that we have to take care of first before getting married, and that is having a low self-esteem or negative self-image. So you're thinking that if I become Mrs. Somebody, I'm going to be, worthy, people are going to respect me and all of that. And this also applies to men. Some men, their goal is to get married to you know, an influential family. If she's from this family, you know, when I say that, oh, that's my wife, people are going to look at me differently and act differently to me. If you're having a low self-esteem or negative self-image, you have to take care of that first before getting married. It's something you have to deal with first. You cannot get married with that kind of mindset or that kind of view of yourself, because you're just going to be a burden to the next person, because you're now glued to, you're practically depending on them for your own self-worth, which you're supposed to have by yourself first before getting married. Another reason is because you want to have sex. We know that sex can be done, sex is allowed. We can only have sex when we're married, right? And most of the time we're thinking that, oh, if I get married, I can have sex as much as I want, anytime, anywhere, and all of that. I'm now married. But we are failing to realize that marriage is not just about sex. And if you ask people who are married, they'll tell you that they have to have a proper schedule to make sure they're intimate. Well, in that point of intimacy, I mean sex. And no matter how you feel like they're having sex constantly, they will tell you that that's not how it is, because there's so much that you have to do. You cannot just be having sex all the time. So that's not a good reason to get married. Sex is beautiful. God created sex, but that's not a reason, like a strong reason for getting married. And my final reason is you are afraid of what people will say or of hurting the person you're currently with. Let's say you guys have been dating for some time, but then you're really not sure, you're no longer certain that this is the person you want to get married to. So in most cases, maybe let's say he financed you through school, it was your pillar of support through school, she helped you get a business and got you back on your toes, and you feel like, oh, I'm obligated to take care of her, and it will be bad, I'll look like a very terrible person if I leave this person and marry someone else. When you deep down in your heart, you know that you are not really feeling the vibe, you know that I don't want to be with this person anymore, but you're so worried about, oh, it will look so bad and everything, so you just go ahead and get married. And whilst you're married, you might be, you know, you're having this regrets of basically thinking about someone else, and whilst you're married to someone else. So these are some of the unhealthy reasons for not getting married. If these are the reasons you have, then I'm sorry, you have to retrace your steps and deal with them. And some of these reasons are basically selfish. For example, you being afraid of being independent, so you decide to get married. You're only thinking about yourself at that point, and that's not fair. So that's it from me, guys. Cheers.